You're joining me in North Wales in one of the abandoned Slate quarries. I've been here a couple of times, but I've never been up here to do any photography, mainly just some hiking around the lower bit down here. But having a look on the map, there's a lot of structures, one that you're actually sat in right now. So I'm going to try and capture a little bit of the essence of North Wales. These structures really do bring out a lot of history, and it's something that I'm really keen to capture on film. So I will be shooting film and digital today. Primarily film, that's what I'm up here to shoot with, but I've got my Lumix G9 with me as well, just to supplement the film. So shooting at f5.6, 1/25th of a second. I've dropped the center post down a little bit just so we can get more of the grass in frame, and also cut out some of these branches. Light's still a little bit flat, but hopefully the contrast of this stock should bring out the building and the trees a little bit better. You're coming with me, son. Okay, so part of the reason that I came up here was one of these settlements, or I don't know, it'd be part of the quarry. There's a lot of machinery, rusted metal around here, which is quite a nice contrasting sort of orangey colour compared to the green of the hills and then the grey of the slate. There is a bigger settlement on the map a little bit further on, so we're going to have a look at there. But there's this which looks to be some sort of engine block, which would be quite a nice subject in the foreground. And then just off behind you, which you can't see at the moment, is some more ruins. So what I'm going to try and do is frame this in the foreground, have a slightly shallow depth of field, so you can still see stuff in the background, but hopefully not all of it is going to be in focus. Trusty brick of a camera that I've got, the Praktica MTL5, I picked up for a very reasonable sum on eBay. It wasn't in the worst condition considering its age and the price I got it for. One issue it does have is the tripod plate sort of unthreads itself as I'm going. I think it's sort of chewed up in there, so it's not going to last very long tightening up there. Okay, so just ditching the tripods at the moment, and I'm going to have a quick look around here because we've got some some small cottages or barracks. I'm not sure what these would have been. Have a quick look in the first one. Ah, yeah, I don't know if you would have lived in here, because there's not any sort of fireplace or anything. Very cool though. Hopefully we can get one of these with a bit of machinery or something as a subject in, but I'm not sure if any of them do. But we'll have a look. Okay, if I spin you around, this one has got some bits sort of here. Not sure that would have been. We can see someone's tried to have a bit of fun. I say fun, people shouldn't set fire to things like this. This is part of Wales's history and it's very important to preserve it for people. Oh, here you go, this one's got a fireplace. Down in the corner. I'm really not sure what all of this slate on the floor is. Down here. I mean, obviously we've not got a roof. But not sure. I'll bring Praktica down here. But what I might do, because we've got a bit of clouds are clearing up a little bit in the distance, so what I might do is, this is all quite wet and dark slate. So I might try and get a shot looking down, so you've got a bit of a leading line towards where it's clearing up and those mountains in the background. So yeah, just walking around. We've just come out of these cottagey bits here, and yeah, this is the sort of thing that I'm looking for. Obviously a bit more interesting than this, but it's just the colour contrast. If I get you a bit lower, you can see difference. Really, this rusted metal really pops. Was the rest of it is all just green and grey. So actually coming back and standing and having a proper look at this scene is actually quite nice, because you've got the rusted bit of metal in the foreground here, and then, as I said, you can use these rows of buildings as a bit of a leading line into the background. You've got a bit of detail from two cliffs that are sort of, not cliffs, two mountains that are overlapping. And then you do have a little bit of detail with some wooden beams in the foreground. I probably won't use the Praktica for this shot. I'm not entirely sure if black and white will work well enough for this, although it might do. I might change my mind. So what I'm going to do is G9. I'm likely going to bracket the shot, so I can get the highlights and then the darker tones as well. So what I've done is I've set the switch on the front of my G9 to be a 3-burst bracket. And what I tend to do before shooting a bracket is I'll take a picture of my hand before and after, so then I've got those images in between a dud picture essentially, so that when I'm sorting through them later to put the bracket together, I can differentiate which ones are which basically. So might just take one standard picture. I'll do that afterwards. So we're going to go, I think, if I step back a little bit, because I want to try and get this metal in the shot, so I'm going to step back a little bit. That's not too bad. So what I'm probably going to do actually, because this metal is quite far out and to the left, which I don't really want, so what I'm going to do is move in a little bit and try and get the corners of these two buildings to be the edges of the frame, or as close to as possible, and that way you can have the real sort of funnel effect that you'd get from having these buildings here. And then what I might try and do, get even closer. We're going to go to 12mm, which is the equivalent of 24mm on full frame. Oh, that's good. Sweet, that worked out pretty well. So, as I was walking out from the little row of buildings there, came over towards these to see if there's anything interesting, but always a good practice. Turn around and see what's behind you. So you've actually got a bigger bit of machinery here, and there is something just down on the floor here as well, but I'm going to ignore this on the right, and I'm going to try and get whatever this is in foreground, mainly to the left. That's the sort of thing I'm aiming for, but if you excuse me while I use the viewfinder. And we've got two people. You might not be able to see them through the chest cam. You'll definitely be able to hear that plane though. And the rain's coming in as well, which is ideal. I'm just waiting for two people to move out of the way. Kind of tempted actually to get a shot from a bit more of an angle here. Get a bit lower down. Yeah, that looks quite nice because it's a fairly straight bit of kit. It does point over to the hostages, but we're going to try and get a wobbly bit lower down here. Right, let's go and put a waterproof on. So, apologies for the audio. This is going to be coming straight out of the action camera. I'd put the mics back in the bag, but as is customary in North Wales, the weather report lied and it absolutely tipped it down, hence all the rain gear. But we tried making it over to the large collection of buildings a little bit further on, but about halfway is when it started tipping it down. And there was also an impassable bog section which I didn't fancy going wading through, so we turned around. But I've got a few other places in mind that we can go to get some more shots with the Orto. So yeah, see how it goes. I've just finished editing this video, so I'm just putting the previews up of the 10 images that I was most happy with out of the day. 3 are with the Orto, and the remaining 7 are with my Lumix G9. I was a little bit disappointed that I only got 3 good-ish photos with the Orto, but it's quite a challenging film stock to use, and it was the first time I was using it as well. It's a very high contrast black and white film stock, and the light really wasn't playing ball that day. It was quite overcast and flat, which you can see in a couple of the digital photos as well. Overall, I would say I'm happy with maybe about half of the images that I captured throughout the day that you're seeing here out of these 10. So not a bad takeaway. Out of the 3 film images that I managed to take, I would probably say this one with the engine block is my favourite. I feel like there's a good separation between the engine block itself, the ruins in the background, and then the hills beyond that as well. The other image that I quite like is one looking back down a pass which was all nicely paved, and then you can kind of see a ruin in the background with some trees, which I did take pictures of on the G9 as well. But I would say for the film stock, again, it was quite flat light. That image came out really dark. I did have to correct that one a little bit in post, whereas the other 2 shots are straight out of the scanner, I suppose. In terms of the digital shots with my G9, it's what I'm used to shooting most of the time. That is what I tend to shoot with. I was quite happy with, say, 5 out of the 7 images that I got. This one here, again, similar to the film stock shots, it's very flat and a bit boring, I'll be honest. I don't think I framed it particularly well I was aiming for the leading line, which kind of links up to the waterfall in the background with the house in the middle, but I just think the grassland in the middle is just a bit dull. So maybe if I'd cropped in a little bit more, that would have made it a bit more interesting. So it's definitely something I could work on in the future, but I would say this image is kind of flat and a bit boring. So this was day 1 out of 2 days shooting in Eryri or Snowdonia. I hope I pronounced that right in Welsh. Weather wasn't quite playing ball on the second day, but again, really good lessons learned, and we're going to see how that goes in the next video.